Look, young and intelligent, with so many goals, mind full of ideas that nobody knows, full of passion, from Detroit, grew up on the east. Plus he told me that the streets turned him into a beast. We met in Little League before I had knowledge of self. In high school we had dreams of the NFL. I don't think he knew he was Israel. All I know is he left me a story to tell. He said he gave up on the street life, encouraged me to do the same and try to get it right. He put it all in his past, started on his new path, even cut them old hoes off and got a wipe. He told me that he be working so hard, ain't selling drugs no more, he just focused on his job. Even got a new pastor, help him get close to the God. Who would've knew that'd be the last time I see him alive?
This world is dark, this world is cold. No favor shown to young or old. The God of Israel, take us home. Yeah, here's the saddest story.
Allegedly, you can see the beauty in her smile. She walk with grace and dress with her own style. She boast in her faith but live in it now. Got a heart full of hate and a mouth full of guile. Her husband slaving to feed the house, and when he gone, she got the nerve to be sneaking out. She serving with lies, and sin is the recipe, till she hit with that unexpected pregnancy. He just happy to hear the news, and it ain't even his, but he don't even know the truth. And before things really blow out of proportion, she tell him she miscarried and really got an abortion. The adulteress seeketh the precious soul, and he don't even know the devil sitting amongst him. Until that day where she finally got exposed, he found who she creeping with, now he going out to confront him.
This world is dark, this world is cold. No favor shown to young or old. The God of Israel, take us home. Yeah, here's the saddest story never told.
Organ blast over the voice of the reverend as an old lady scream, asking God for a blessing. The ushers head to the back to dump the money collected while the children fall asleep cause they ain't really interested. The door slam, they turn and see a man with pain in his eyes and a brick in his hand. Woe to the false pastors that scatter the sheep. Destroy.
Men of Israel, blow trumpets. Trumpets down.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you this day asking for your mercy, asking that you heal our people. We have been in captivity for so long, and we pray that you forgive us of our sins, the sins that we do willfully and ignorantly. I pray that you walk with us and guide us and give us your wisdom, your mercy, and your understanding. To do thy will, Lord, I pray that you protect us from all that hate us. And I pray that you give us the wisdom to teach your people, to gather the 12 across the scattered places that you have scattered us for this captivity. I pray that you watch over us and keep us. I pray for the weak, the strong, and the sick, whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, or physically. I pray that you heal our spirit and be with us. Send your mighty angels to camp around us as we go throughout the four corners of the earth. Give us a mouth to speak your word, your will, your way. And let us be increased as you have promised us. Come back for your children and save us and redeem us as you have promised. Give your covenant back to your people and remember your words. In your son Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right. Shalom, Most High in Christ. Bless. Happy Sabbath. Lord's will, everybody had a joyous Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread. Got the leaven out of your spirit, out of your house. And if you missed a little bit, Lord's will, the healing of the Lord helps you. I am Captain Noah, and today's class is called Wired. And it was a thought process in this class. I watched this documentary over the brain, and it was also a lady talking about the brain, how it works, what makes it sick, what heals it, things of that nature, and just looking and seeing the state of our people brought this class about. So the wired is how we think, how our brain processes, and things of that nature in our ailments while we do the things that we do. And it's really an extension of addiction. And our real addiction is sin. So I'm going to get a couple scriptures on it and elaborate what I'm saying as far as wired. So give me Baruch chapter 3 and verse 9. We'll start here. We got to understand why it happened, where we're at with what's happening in our minds. Baruch 3 and 9.
Baruch chapter 3 and verse 9. Hear, Israel, the commandments of life.
So we're supposed to hear the commandments of life. This is how we're supposed to govern our lives, our minds, how we deal day to day in the society that we're in. Read.
Give ear to understand wisdom. How happeneth Israel?
So that's the question. How did it happen that we're in this situation, that we're in this mind state? Read.
That thou art in thine enemy's land. That thou art waxen old in a strange country. That thou art defiled with the dead.
So the documentary that I was watching, he was mainly going into what causes Alzheimer's. And our dead state is really that. We've forgotten who we were, who we are, what we're supposed to do, how we're supposed to get there. We have become old and forgetful in this captivity. Read.
That thou art counted with them that go down into the grave.
Read.
Thou hast forsaken the fountain of wisdom. For if thou hadst walked in the way of God, thou shouldest have dwelled in peace forever.
So we would have had a peace of mind, physical peace. Our enemies wouldn't have came after us the way that they came after us. We would have had all these things if we would have stayed in the commandments in life. We wouldn't be going through these plagues of the mind. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 45. And let me see if I want to start with the book or with the lady. Go ahead, read Deuteronomy 28, 45.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed. Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee.
So this is how it happened. Because we didn't keep his commandments. 47.
Verse 47. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness.
We weren't happy with the statutes, the judgments, the commandments, the way of life that was set before us. Read.
And with gladness of heart.
With gladness of mind. And as I thought about Passover and in general, all of the high holy days that we have, it is instrumental to our joyness, our gladness of mind. And the lady that was talking about it talks about how isolation hurts us. When we isolate ourselves, it affects the brain in a dramatic way. As well as the other doctor, he was explaining how we depress ourselves, and the government takes advantage of that, really. Government being Edom. Read that again.
Verse 47. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart.
So going in the mind of the high holy days, we celebrate our independence. It gives us hope that our God is going to take care of us against our adversaries, against our enemies. He's going to, it gives us the assurity that he's our God and we're his servants. It gives us a different type of happiness to have that type of power backing you. And when you come to the Sabbath, when you come to the new moon, when you keep the high holy days, it keeps you in that spirit and in that mind. And that's just a shot at some of you brothers and sisters that get Sabbath sick. Or I should say sick of coming to the Sabbath. Read.
For the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
Jump down to verse 60.
Verse 60. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou wast afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Also, every sickness and every plague.
So every sickness and every plague, read.
Which is not written in the book of this law.
Alzheimer's is not written in this book. The certain mental diseases that happen, they're not in this book. They're not written here, and our people have fallen victim to it because of the curses, because of the lack of happiness that we don't have about ourselves. And when you tell our people that you're the greatest thing on the earth, you're God's chosen people, and that he's a black man, they throw rocks at you. They try to stone and kill you for bringing them truth and happiness. Read.
Them will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed.
And we are destroyed. Go up to verse 28. 28.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 28.
So this is the sickness in mind that is plaguing us. Read.
The Lord shall smite thee with madness.
To be crazy. Read.
And blindness.
We can't even figure out why we doing the things that we do, why we are attracted to the things that we're doing, and stay in the cycle of it. Read.
And astonishment of heart.
Read.
And thou shalt grope at noonday.
And you're going to try to figure it out. You're going to try all of these options that your enemies have educated you to go into to figure it out. And you're not going to figure it out. Read.
As the blind gropeth in darkness. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways.
And that's where you get even crazier. That's where the post-traumatic stress disorder comes into your mind, and you just keep looping the same problems in your mind. The past keeps plaguing you, and you can't figure out how to rewire your mind to positivity. It's only going to negative things. Read.
And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee.
And no man shall save thee. So I got this insert in this book. Called the book, and it's chapter 8.
The 48 laws of power.
Not that one. Did I send it to you? No, this isn't As a Man Thinketh. It's yeah, I did send it. It's the title of it is Change Your Circumstances by Changing Your Attitude. All right. Go ahead, call it and read it.
Chapter 8 out of Change Your Circumstances.
Call the whole book and read it.
The laws of human nature. Chapter 8. Change your circumstances by changing your attitude. The law of self-sabotage.
And this is the madness that we're in. We don't understand how we self-sabotage ourselves. We just think that it's normal life to go on being oppressed the way that we are oppressed, and then use coping mechanisms to suppress, not change, not heal, not help, but suppress the feelings and the thought process that we're going through. Go ahead.
Each of us has a particular way of looking at the world, of interpreting events and the actions of people around us. This is our attitude, and it determines much of what happens to us in life. If our attitude is essentially fearful, we see the negative in every circumstance. We stop ourselves from taking chances. We blame others for mistakes and fail to learn from them. If we feel hostile or suspicious, we make others feel such emotions in our presence. We sabotage our career and relationships by unconsciously creating the circumstances we fear the most.
We imagine evil things. We get to levels of success, acceptance, and we do things because it's not a real reality for a black man to succeed, a black woman to be submissive to a man, especially a black man. Over the course of a couple of weeks, I've developed this new thing this new phrase of everybody can tell a black man what to do except for a black man. And that in itself is the self-sabotaging, because we get on our people, and it's not to hurt you, it's to help you, to heal you, to fix you. But we don't see it that way. Finish that passage.
The human attitude, however, is malleable by making our attitude more positive, open, and tolerant of other people.
Meaning that you can change this. You can fix how you think. You can fix how you react to things, how your reaction to positive and negative things. Read.
We can spark a different dynamic.
Uh-huh.
We can learn from adversity, create opportunities out of nothing, and draw people to us. We must explore the limits of our willpower and how far it can take us.
Meaning you have to go through that adversity. You have to put yourself to the test. And once you get through this test, your mind says, oh, I can do more. And once you do more, the wires start to connect in your mind. You start to look at yourself and life differently because you put yourself through that adversity and you made it through. That sense of accomplishment, it sends chemicals through your body that make you happy, that cheer you up, that keep you enduring and pushing forward. Give me Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 20.
Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 20.
Uh-huh.
And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity.
Because we made a choice that we wanted this lifestyle. We didn't want to serve God in joyness and happiness of the mind. We wanted to be like everybody else, and look where it's gotten us. Read.
And the water of affliction.
Uh-huh.
Yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore.
So it doesn't matter what you do or what you say. We understand that adversity makes us stronger. So whatever y'all do, whatever y'all say, y'all are preparing us to be even better than what we were. Thank you. We glory in these tribulations because now we're much more smarter. We're stronger than before. We don't cower to the minds that we have of weakness. We're breathing endurance in ourselves because of the Spirit of the Lord. Because we're in this affliction, we know how to operate. Psalms 107 and verse 19. We'll read 19 and 20.
Psalms chapter 107 and verse 19.
Uh-huh.
Then they cry unto the Lord in their trouble.
And that's what we're supposed to do right now. We are in trouble. And we got to pray, make supplication, change, convert our minds so he will hear us. Read.
And he saveth them out of their distresses.
And that's what we're waiting for. Read.
He sent his word and healed them.
And that's what's going to heal us. But you got to be able to take the medicine. Nobody really likes to take medicine. I don't know too many medicines or even good herbs to just take that's just good. But it's going to fix your problem. It's going to heal the problem gradually as you take it. It's not going to be a quick fix like our people want. Because a 3-second decision can destroy 5 years of your life. That takes time to heal. But you got to have a strong mind to endure the process of healing. Read verse 20 again.
Verse 20. He sent his word and healed them and delivered them from their destructions.
And that's what this gospel is doing across the world. It's healing our people from our distresses, the problems that have pursued us over the years and centuries. It's all being healed in these latter days. So let me get that YouTube. It's the how isolation affects you. And I didn't pinpoint exactly where I wanted to go, but just play it from the top and picture me in it.
It turns out our brains are wired for social interaction, and when we don't get it, the brain changes and you lose nerve connections in certain parts of the brain. Before COVID, this issue was more noticeable in older people who lived alone, cut off from their families, and maybe unable to drive. Researchers saw that the social isolation hastened the age-related cognitive decline and was a risk for developing Alzheimer's disease. But with COVID and the ensuing lockdown, we see the evidence of these brain changes in younger people. You may experience it as brain fog. Brain fog can be a lot of things, but in general, you can think and process information slower. You can have trouble finding words. You can feel mentally tired and draggy even though you haven't done anything that's physically tiring. Why would social isolation do this? Your brain is made up of a network of nerves that connect to one another. The tighter the connections between the nerves, the better they are able to transmit signals from one nerve to another. Inflammation loosens these connections, as does social isolation. Social isolation affects your social cognition. Social cognition is a set of skills that include being able to read someone's emotional expression, remembering and recognizing someone whose face is familiar to you, being able to interpret someone's tone of voice, and being able to empathize with another person and appreciate that they have their own desires, goals, and intentions. This last skill is called theory of mind. Don't know why it's called that, doesn't quite make sense to me, but that's just in case you read that in the articles that I have referenced. These skills are learned very early on, but we need social interaction to maintain them. So some aspect of isolation is that you lose these skills because you fall out of practice. But then there's the brain changes. In one of the studies that I referenced, researchers looked at structural MRI data from 32,000 people. That's a large study. The people who were socially isolated showed brain loss in the temporal lobes, frontal lobes, and hippocampus. Your hippocampus is important for emotional memories.
Give me Jude 19. And that's why I was saying the high holy days that we have, it keeps that social connection for the brain, that interaction that we need to stay in the spirit. Without it, you see people start to drift away. And this is what the scriptures say about it. Read.
Jude, verse 19. These be they who separate themselves.
So there's a set of people that supposedly be in the spirit. They're supposed to be in the spirit, but they separate themselves. Read.
Sensual, having not the spirit.
You're not in the spirit. That connection that the Lord gave you in your mind, you've emotionally disconnected yourself from the words of God and the people of God that help keep you in the spirit. And now your brain has changed to say, nobody checks on me. Nobody wants me around. Nobody calls me. Nobody's dealing with me. But you've made the decision to be Sabbath sick, or to not answer your phone calls, or not even take counsel, and hate the people that have been helping you this entire time. And you've separated yourself. Read that again.
Verse 20, verse 19. These be they who separate themselves, sensual, having not the spirit.
So they're earthly, emotional, and they don't have the Spirit of God, and they separate themselves from this body and become the body of Satan to live amongst the dead Israelites that can't get the connection. Was that it?
Yes, sir.
Hebrews 11 and verse 1. And the next thing that I want is the series of videos that I don't see got sent. Or maybe it's just not. Did it send those? Yeah, okay, I see it. I'm going to thumbs up the one that I want first. Go ahead. Hebrews 11:1.
Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for.
The thing that we hope for ultimately is redemption, the kingdom of heaven. On a surface level, we hope for acceptance, success, oneness with our people. We want that euphoric feeling of being wanted within our community. That's first and foremost. But then when you hit certain oppositions or problems or things that remind you of what you went through in the world, you back off. Or you start to treat every single person like one person did you. And it's a false reality. And once you start living in that false reality, that's when that process of disconnecting yourself from everybody else, like Jude was saying, you start to lose the Spirit of God and you stop wanting to congregate and you start picking up habits that further disconnect and destroy your mental state to where you're smitten with madness and worse things start to happen. Read.
Now faith is the substance of things hoped for.
So our faith has to be built up. And through the things that we go through, the things that we see, experience, these things will build your faith along with studying, along with being around. Read.
The evidence of things not seen.
So from there, Proverbs 23 and 7. I lied, Officer Jan. I want the book. Yeah. Yep. Go ahead, read that.
Proverbs chapter 23 and verse 7. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee.
So for as a man think in his heart, so is he. How you think about yourself is important. How you love and care for yourself is important. It shows what you do shows how you care for yourself. And if you don't care for yourself, I see many times people complain about their growth in the truth, their health, their physical health, and Captain Shim has been an advocate on what the world calls body shaming. They put a negative thought process that you can't tell fat people that they're fat. And you can't give them the statistics of what happens to an obese person. That's called body shaming. But it's helping you not die. And that's what counsel does. But a sensual person will take it negative. Read this passage, zoom in for them, and we're going to start at the second to the last paragraph on page 12. Every man
is where he is.
Yeah, there you go. Yep, those two.
Every man is where he is.
And this is the book As a Man Thinketh. Read.
Every man is where he is by the law of his being. The thoughts which he has built into his character have brought him there.
So who you are, what you do, the decisions that you've made have put you in the situation that you're in, whether it's good or bad. Read.
And in the arrangement of his life, there is no element of chance, but all is the result of a law which cannot err. This is just as true of those who feel out of harmony with their surroundings as of those who are contended with them.
Read.
As a progressive and evolving being, man is where he is, that he may learn, that he may grow. And as he learns the spiritual lesson, which any circumstance contains for him, it passes away and gives place to other circumstances.
So, to say it in the black way, life be lifing. Because that's everybody's complaint. Everybody got bills. Everybody got things that they have to do, accomplish, and how you do it says what you're going to get out of it. You're not going to stop life from lifing. Get Jeremiah 17 and 9. We're going to read 9 and 10. And give me the second part of that book.
Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 9. The heart is deceitful above all things.
Because it thinks of many different things. It has so many different scenarios. It is, I wish I would have got this clip as well, but it was saying that the mind stores, I'll say like 600 plus terabytes. It's more than that. It's a lot more than terabytes, but it's a lot of memory that your brain stores. All the things that you've seen, you witnessed, the TV, the music, all the information that you've involved yourself in, it's in the brain, and it just comes out at different spurts of time. It's like, why am I thinking that? Why did that come to mind? I don't even do things that I'm thinking, but it's storing all of these things, and your mind is going to all of these different places. Read that again.
Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 9.
The
heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked.
Don't trust what you think. Just because you hear something and you perceive it to be truth, don't act on it until you know your spirit can deal with something like that. And I'm not talking about sinful things. I'm just talking about making everyday choices and decisions. Read.
Who can know it?
Who knows their own mind? Read.
I, the Lord, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways.
So the choices, the thought process that you have are going to lead to the choices that you make, and the Lord is watching. Read.
And according to the fruit of his doings.
And what you put out is what you're going to get. And if you can't dish it, don't do it. And a lot of times we'll pray for things and we'll absolutely get what we prayed for. Why did you pray for that in the first place? Because to have some of the things that we pray for in this world is going to take us to a higher point. And the higher you get, the greater the fall. And were you ready? Are you prepared to take that fall if it comes? How are you going to build on what you just gotten? Are you going to be mentally sound after you've accomplished this and can maintain this level of success, I'll say, no matter what it is? Read.
That was it on verse 10. Verse 11.
No. Give me the other book, the other page to the book, As a Man Thinketh, and we're going to start at, no, I'll hold that. Give me the video. Yep.
Dr. Daniel Amen is the renowned psychiatrist and brain health expert
who has scanned over 260,000 brains, including Justin Bieber, Miley Cyrus, and Kendall Jenner,
to determine what we need to do for optimum brain health.
In 2024, the word of the year was brain rot. Why?
Because people are worried that their habits are shrinking their brain, like food, gaming, social media, pornography.
What about working with assholes?
Bad for your brain.
And then, is there anything non-obvious that we do to our children's brains?
Yes, and this is so important because this is one thing a lot of parents do without knowing the consequences for their children. And we'll talk about that.
What about negative thinking?
Well, we just published this huge study on this, and the science is really clear. It decreases activity in your prefrontal cortex, which impacts your motivation, focus, and mood. It is detrimental to your brain. So how can you kill the negative thoughts? Well, there's a whole bunch of things. One is saffron. Head-to-head has been shown to be equally effective.
So hold
as
right there.
antidepressant.
I just wanted to give a preview of what he's talking about in this I guess you call it a podcast or this interview. This doctor's done 260 brain scans, and he's showing how people have destroyed their forward thinking, their frontal lobe, that the process of making decisions and choices. And he also blasted the government and the pharmaceutical business as to what they've done to induce these things in people's ignorance. Give me Wisdom of Solomon 9 and 13. And I want to define the brain rot next. 9 and 13.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 9 and verse 13. For what man is he that can know the counsel of God? Or who can think what the will of the Lord is?
Read.
For the thoughts of mortal men are miserable.
We have miserable thoughts. That's why you can't trust your own thoughts. We haven't comprehended this Bible to the level of this is our greatest chance to heal us, to fix the breaches within all of us. We haven't thought on it. We cast this thing away like God ain't been for us in so long, so why should I even pick up the Bible and learn it? Read.
And our devices are but uncertain.
And those devices are the things that we use to try to heal ourselves, just like he was mentioning, food, drugs, sex, relationships, and gaming, and all these other things. Read.
For the corruptible body presseth down the soul, and the earthy tabernacle weigheth down the mind, that museth upon many things.
So this body is pressing down that natural spirit that God gave us to be at peace, to understand his will, to make ourselves happy, to overthrow that curse. It's been pressed down because of how we've been conditioned in this life. Read.
And hardly do we guess aright at things that are upon the earth.
Read.
And with labor do we find the things that are before us. But the things that are in heaven, who has searched out? And thy counsel, who hath known? Except thou give wisdom and send thy Holy Spirit from above.
Read.
For so the ways of them which lived on the earth were reformed. And men were taught the things that are pleasing unto thee, and were saved through wisdom.
And through wisdom, we're going to be saved. That's what's going to help the mind that we have here on this earth. Sirach 4 and 11, and give me the definition of brain rot. There you go.
You can zoom in. Oxford. Why brain rot? Brain rot is defined as the supposed deterioration of a person's mental or intellectual state, especially viewed as a result of overconsumption of material, now particularly online content, considered to be trivial or unchallenging. Also, something characterized as likely to lead to such deterioration.
So the devices that have come into the earth have deteriorated our minds, like social media, gaming, overstimulating the brain with nothingness. And that's America in a nutshell. And then to make matters worse, being drugged and legalizing of weed, abusing the healthcare system. It's gotten to the point to where nobody is really sane. Nobody has an intellectual thought. It's hard to have a conversation with black people. You ask them simple questions and you really get a simple answer or none at all. Our people slow. I'm just saying it straight. They slow, retarded. And some of them, not by what do you call it? They're not diagnosed to be retarded. They just don't have it all together because mine has been fried in America. Sirach 4:11.
Sirach chapter 4 and verse 11. Wisdom exalteth her children, and layeth hold of them that seek her.
So wisdom is going to build you up. It's going to make you wise. It's going to make you smarter. It's going to give you the hope that you've been looking for. It's going to build your faith if you allow it. Read.
He that loveth her loveth life.
So this is how you're making yourself happy. This is the joyness that you have because the glory in God is going to give you that in return. It's going to make you feel that way, think that way. If you think that you're a God, you're going to study what it means to be a God. If you think you're a princess, a king, what Negroes is calling themselves, and queen, if you study to really find out what that means to be that in the godly sense, you will behave that way and not just say things and not live it. Read.
And they that seek to her early shall be filled with joy.
And this is the hope that we want, to be filled with that joy, to get rid of that brain fog or that deterioration of mind that we all are going through in this captivity of being conditioned to be nothing, to be at the bottom of society. When you hear the precepts say that your ancestors are the true Israelites of the Bible and that the most powerful being that walked the earth is your kinsman, it should do something to your spirit. It should change something in your mind. But not these people. They'll just throw rocks at you for you telling them that they're the greatest thing on the earth. Imagine that. Read.
Verse 13. He that holdeth her fast shall inherit glory. And wheresoever she entereth, the Lord will bless.
Read.
They that serve her shall minister to the Holy One. And them that love her, the Lord doth love.
Read.
Whoso giveth ear unto her shall judge the nations, and he that attendeth unto her shall dwell securely.
Right.
If a man commit himself unto her, she shall inherit her.
He shall inherit her. Read.
And his generation shall hold her in possession. For at the first she will walk with him by crooked ways.
All of us are still walking in crooked ways. There's things that this Bible that we haven't realized yet. We're still learning and growing. And if you're not, this is where you got to question yourself. Am I still walking with wisdom? Is she still walking with me? Because I know there's room for growth. I know that I hadn't hit my ceiling. I know there's still more for me to accomplish before the inevitable happens, either death or the coming of Christ. All of us are still going to be walking in these crooked ways, and wisdom is going to be right there to build us up at each step to continue making us successful and joyful in the things that we're growing in. Read.
And bring fear and dread upon him.
And to say it plainly, when you first come into this truth, the things that you're dealing with are your family telling you that you're in a cult and battling them and getting Caesar Borgia out of your mind, changing your dress code and keeping the dietary law. But once you conquer all of those things, you hit a new level and you find yourself in a new crookedness, so to say. Some of us have, well, all of us have dormant spirits that, or this scenario, put you in a place to make a decision. Are you going to use wisdom, or are you going to revert back to your normal process of thinking, which could send you back to dealing with the first few things of family, dress, because you start to doubt what wisdom is taking you through. Read where you at again. Verse 17.
Verse 17. For at the first she will walk with him by crooked ways, and bring fear and dread upon him.
And that fear and dread is you understanding that there's going to be a bad consequence if you don't listen, if you do go in the direction that you wanted to go and found out that that's not the correct way to do it. That's the fear and dread. Like, I ain't stepping over there. That's dangerous. That'll hurt me. That'll kill me. Read.
And torment him with her discipline.
And this is the type of, what's the word? Scripture used it, and I forgot it. Affliction, adversity. That's the word. That's the affliction and adversity that's been set for us all to say, I'm going to stand for this. I'm not going to waver. I'm not going to just believe everything that I hear. I'm going to prove all things according to the scriptures to strengthen my path. Read.
Until she may trust his soul and try him by her laws.
And just like what we were reading in As a Man Thinketh, we have a law that governs our steps and our thought process to rewire us to be guys that we're meant to be the chosen people above all people that we're supposed to be. And if you choose to be of the world, you're going to get those worldly problems in abundance. Read.
Verse 18. Then will she return the straight way unto him, and comfort him, and show him her secrets.
That's the joyness. That's the increase now. You've proven yourself to master the basics of the laws at a level, and wisdom is going to give you more than what you thought that you deserved. And now you got to learn humility with what you've just gotten. And some people, they crash out instead of being humble with what wisdom has done with them. Read.
But if he go wrong.
But if you crash out, read.
She will forsake him and give him over to his own ruin. Observe the opportunity and beware of evil.
So you got to really watch yourself now, because you've been given much, and much is going to be required of you, and that much will be taken away and leave you in a state to where, one, you'll have to start all over, and two, whatever mistakes that you were correcting, you got to recorrect them and then build back up on everything that you were doing. And that's a process of time of healing. And what it does to the mind, what I've seen it do to the minds of some of our people, they turn into stumps in this truth. Yeah, they hear you, see them, they're rooted, but with no treetop. They just a stump in this body because they got to that level and wisdom is cut off. There's no more growth to that tree. Where you at?
The end of verse 20.
Go to Sirach 4 and 11.
Sirach chapter 4 and verse 11. Wisdom exalteth her children.
It makes us happy. It builds us up. It keeps us with a sane mind. Read.
And layeth hold of them that seek her.
Laying hold of them means that you can see a brother or sister that's moving in the spirit of Christ. that's enduring the affliction. A lot of people say, man, I never see you go through anything. You always, I know you're going through things, but it never shows on your face. That's because wisdom is taking hold of you, that you understand that this is the natural things of life, that issues are going to happen. And even Israelites will do things to you that seems uncanny to your belief. We ain't all right. We sin against each other. But are you mentally ready for the fight that you said that you wanted to be in? And wisdom is going to show if you are or not. Read.
He that loveth her loveth life. And they that seek to her early shall be filled with joy.
You're going to be all right. Read.
He that holdeth her fast shall inherit glory.
Read.
And wheresoever she entereth, the Lord will bless. They that serve her shall minister to the Holy One, and them that love her the Lord doth love. Whoso giveth ear unto her shall judge the nations.
Read.
And he that attendeth unto her shall dwell securely.
Read.
If a man commit himself unto her, she shall inherit her, and his generation shall hold her in possession. For at the first she will walk with him by crooked ways, and bring fear and dread upon him, and torment him with her discipline, until she may trust his soul, and try him by her laws.
Read.
Then will she return the straight way unto him, and comfort him, and show him her secrets.
And that's what we all want. So going back into the mind, give me Mark 7 and 21. And let me get that second video. Let me see what he say. Let me see if that's the one I want.
They're hurting.
What evidence have we got that alcohol is
All right,
bad
hold
for...
that. Let me see the next one.
Think, if you had to guess, why do you think Oxford University's word of the year was brain rot?
All right. Yeah, that's the one I want. So hold that right there. Mark 7 and 21.
Mark chapter 7 and verse 21. For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts.
And this is why you can't trust your mind, because all of us are naturally equipped with these evil thoughts. We've been in this world for so long that it's a natural thing, and it's been popularized, if that's a word, for us to engage in these evil thoughts. Read the evil thoughts.
Adulteries, fornications, murders.
This is your favorite TV shows, your favorite rapper. These are the things that entertain us. These are the things that we have been taught to make us happy, to feel better about the circumstances in our lives. These are goals that we hope to meet. Read it again.
Verse 21. For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness.
All these things we get a level of high from. It makes us feel something that doing right has not made us feel, and we're drawn to it as a people. Our feet run to these things, and it's an instability in ourselves as to why we run to these things. Every opportunity that I get when I'm dealing with people, I ask them, what reality are you trying to escape from? As to why you're moving the way that you're moving. Because there's some type of pain, trauma that you're trying to heal, and you're looking for all of these things to heal that pain and trauma, but it's just covering it up for a moment. It's not changing your reality. It's not making you feel better. You're not really dealing with the issue. Verse 23.
Verse 23. All these evil things come from within and defile the man.
It makes you unclean. It changes how you think, because the more and more you do these evil things, the worse and worse you become. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1 and 1.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 1. Love righteousness.
The Bible says, love to keep God's commandments. That's what righteousness is. That's how you heal yourself and fix yourself. This is how you're going to show that you love yourself. Read.
Ye that be judges of the earth,
Uh-huh.
think of the Lord with a good heart, and in simplicity of heart seek him.
Because this is an easy thing. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Don't bear false witness. Be a righteous judge in a matter. Love your neighbor as you would love yourself, but you got to understand what loving yourself means before you can project that out to the world. Because if I'm a person that hates myself, I'm going to teach others how to hate themselves. And we're going to live in a world and a society that's teaching and reteaching generation after generation what hate is instead of what love is, destroying the minds of each and every person. Read.
Verse 2. For he will be found of them that tempt him not.
Tempting him is thinking that there's no consequence to your wrongdoings and continually doing it and making the excuse of, well, God knows my heart. He created me this way. No, he didn't. He created you upright. You haven't begun to seek what uprightness looks like. Read.
And showeth himself unto such as do not distrust him.
Read.
For forward thoughts.
And that's also your faith. Though you're going through affliction, though you're at the bottom of society, don't distrust the process of being healed. It took time for us to get to this, and it's going to take time for us to get out of it. But the process is set for us to win. And through your actions and thought process, you show that you distrust the God that created you and placed you in the situation that you were created to overcome. Read.
For forward thoughts.
Forward thoughts.
Separate from God.
Your evil thoughts take you away from God. And that's what we read in Jude. That your earthly emotional ways is what's keeping you from being happy. You've placed yourself in a position to where you're comfortable in your unhappiness and you think of ways to keep you there. You've wired your mind to keep you in that cycle of destroying your mind and your spirit. Read.
And his power, when it is tried, reproveth the unwise.
Uh-huh.
For into a malicious soul.
So into a soul that can't get it right. Read.
Wisdom shall not enter.
You're not going to get that joy that you so desperately are trying to get in your actions, but not understanding the errors of your ways to fix them and to get true happiness. There are so many options, and I don't think that I got the video. I didn't have enough time to prep it to get the video, but he was saying that that the Bible says it too. There's many different ways that you can heal yourself, but we choose the evils to try to heal ourselves, and it's been deceiving us, and it's been a trap for us to go to deceit and then be continually deceived by the devices. Start from the top and read it again.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 4.
Uh-huh.
For into a malicious soul wisdom shall not enter,
Uh-huh.
nor dwell in the body that is subject unto sin.
Meaning sin has dominion over you now. You've captivated your mind into the devices to heal yourself, and you've made yourself so far gone that you can't see wisdom anymore. That blindness, that astonishment of heart. Like, how did I get to this? Read.
Verse 5. For the Holy Spirit of discipline will flee deceit.
The discipline of this Bible is going to take you away from that cycle of destruction. It's going to let you see where you went wrong, help you correct it, guide you into that correction, and stable you to your health, to your healing, if you allow it to. Read.
And remove from thoughts that are without understanding.
It's going to calm your mind. It's going to get rid of that anxiety, those past traumas. It's going to show you how to deal rightly with your evil-mindedness. Read.
And will not abide when unrighteousness cometh in.
And you're going to be able to see that this isn't good for my soul. Let me not make that choice, that decision. Read.
For wisdom is a loving spirit, and will not acquit a blasphemer of his words. For God is witness of his reigns.
Read.
And a true beholder of his heart.
Read.
And a hearer of his tongue. For the Spirit of the Lord filleth the world, and that which containeth all things hath knowledge of the voice.
From there, play that next video.
Think, if you had to guess, why do you think Oxford University's word of the year was brain rot?
Because people are worried that their habits are shrinking their brain, especially social media and digital addictions. I'm so hoping they'll go to brain health, be more aspirational.
We've talked about a lot of things on this show. One of the things that really stuck with me is how the content we consume can have a profound impact on our brains. We often think of the chemicals, the drugs, the alcohol, and all those things, which I want to talk about. But one such piece of content, which I don't think we have talked about, is the impact of pornography on the brain. Is there a link between brain health and pornography consumption?
You know, it's such an important question. And the first thing that comes to my mind is exposing developing brains to pornography is so dangerous. And 8, 9, 10-year-old boys are being exposed to the internet where they can see all sorts of pornography when their brains aren't anywhere near the ability to discern what's good, what's not good, what's healthy, what's not healthy. And it's deadening, and I use that word purposefully, the nucleus accumbens, which is the area of your brain that responds to dopamine. So dopamine, and I know you've done podcasts on dopamine, it's the neurotransmitter that helps us with motivation, which helps us with focus, which helps us with happiness and mood. And when the nucleus accumbens gets hit repeatedly with pornographic images, it's like dopamine, dopamine, dopamine. It begins to deaden that area, and then you need more and more to begin to feel anything at all. That's why fame.
Hold right there. That's what I was saying about you going into a bag of deceits, a cycle of deceit. Once you give the flesh what it wants, you be like, I'm going to just do it this one time. And that one time it felt great. And then the second time, you're like, I shouldn't do it. But you got to feel better. You got to make you feel better. Remember how it felt the first time. You want that first feeling. And then you do it again. And now, 2, 3 months, 3 years later, you still stuck in that cycle of you gotta feel like the first time. You remember that first time you felt it, you gotta make yourself feel better. And you look up, brothers have been on your helmet, you missing calls, you not the same person that you were because you've been in a cycle of sinful deceit, trying to heal your mind, trying to feel better about the condition that you're in. Escaping reality is what you did instead of facing it. Get 1 Peter.
1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 2.
Uh-huh.
As newborn babes.
So he said that he was saying a developing mind. And you got to think of yourself as a newly developed mind, like a child when you come into this truth. Read.
Desire the sincere milk of the word.
So you got to start like a child. You don't want to expose yourself to things that your mind or your spirit as a babe in this truth, to things that you can't handle. Babies need milk. They can't eat table food, as we call it. Their stomachs can't process it. Same thing for you. The things that you thought that you could withstand is different when you come into the truth. You're going to have to rebuild your immune system, so to say, to withstand the evils that you didn't even know existed. Because this word, it magnifies the world around you and what you see and what you think. What you thought in the world, it was like, oh, this ain't too bad. But then you try to do it again in this truth, and you get this cringe feeling like, something ain't right. My spidey senses is tingling. That's wisdom yanking on you, saying, no, get away from here. That ain't what you're supposed to do. Read it from the top again.
1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 2.
Uh-huh.
As newborn babes.
So as a newborn child, you have to think of yourself like this coming into the truth and monitor yourself as you grow. Read.
Desire the sincere milk of the word.
And how you do that is by the basics of the law, building yourself up in that strength. Read.
That ye may grow thereby.
That's how you're going to develop your mind. But if you off to the side alone in your secret sins and you're not confessing them to change, you're going to destroy yourself. You're going to make yourself sick. Read.
Verse 3. If so be ye have tasted that the Lord is gracious.
That was it on that. Give me Proverbs 14. Yeah, go ahead. The camera ain't going to swivel to you because you way over there.
I got you. Check. There was one thing I wanted to add on to that, if you don't mind, Cap.
Boy, them footsteps came quickly. Come. I got you. We're going to get you on camera, officer.
All praises. Hey, Shalom family, Most High Christ bless. Give me 1 Peter chapter 1, 14, and I want to read one more in James.
1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 14.
Yes, sir.
As obedient children.
So as Cap was talking about, you becoming your thinking process as a babe, just like a sponge in the scriptures, right? It says, as obedient children. We are obedient to God's laws, right? Read.
Not fashioning yourselves.
Not fastening yourself, not building yourself up after reforming your mind. Read.
According to the former lust in your ignorance.
In the former lust in your ignorance. You got to let that stuff go. Like Cap said, now give me James 1. James 1 and read verse 2. As Cap was saying, there's going to be levels where we're going to have to deal with things with impulse, anxiety. There's going to be other levels where we're going to have to deal with stuff. Are we going to revert back to that African American mindset? Because African Americans were raised here in America, that our mindset. But are we going to follow the scriptures of God? All right? Give me that.
James chapter 1 and verse 2.
So I'm bringing this scripture out to understand that it's a process. It takes time, as Cap was saying. It takes time for you to build new habits. They say it takes what? 3 months? 3 months to create, 90 days to create a new habit. Same thing when we read the scriptures here. Same thing when we're applying the scriptures. Read.
My brethren, count it all joy when ye fall into diverse temptations.
We have to change our perspective in life. The Most High God is dealing with us. He giving you mercy. He's showing you how to become better, how to be gods on this earth. Now, we don't look at it. We don't get pissed off. We're not mad. We're happy. We're happy that we're going through the things that's going to build us up to become better men, to build up our nations, right? So read that last part again.
Verse 2. Count it all joy when ye fall into diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience.
The trying of your faith worketh patience. Your faith is being exercised. So when you start falling back into that, I'm going to just say it. When you fall back into that Negro mindset, that's where you lacking faith. You stop believing in God. Cap pulled that earlier in Hebrews 11. When you start reverting back to that Negro mindset, that is where your faith is at. And you need to build it up. Read.
Verse 4. But let patience have her perfect work.
We have to keep this in mind when we're going through our trials. When we're being built up, when we are being humbled, right? It says, let patience have her perfect work. Read.
That ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing.
Wanting nothing. All right? This is that process that we have to go through so we're not lacking in wisdom. That's it on that. That's it.
And that wanting is you worrying. And I'm gonna touch that worrying mind here in a minute. Get Proverbs 14:10.
Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 10. The heart knoweth his own bitterness.
You know what makes you sad. You know what makes you happy too. And a lot of us have a negative way of seeing things, and it changes how you view things. We were talking earlier, setting up class, and I was asked a question about how it feels to reach levels of success. And I had two minds about it. One, being a black man in America, you're so used to being unappreciated that when somebody gives you a simple compliment, it's hard for you to accept it. Like, what's your motive? Why are you telling me I'm doing good? What is this? What are you going to do to me if I continue to be good? Are you after me? We can't take compliments because of our own traumas. And we stay on high alert. And read it again.
Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 10. The heart knoweth his own bitterness.
You know your soul. You know what you deal with. You know what's bringing you down, what's keeping you from the happiness that you say you want. You know what you're struggling with. Read.
And a stranger doth not intermeddle with his joy.
That was it on that. Let me get the social media clips. And then I want the one that I skipped on drinking. Give me the one on Kodak Black. Kodak Black. That ain't Kodak. Yep, that one.
Free advertisement. You over there recording the wrong thing. Take a seat next to him. Take a seat next to him. Enjoy that food. Enjoy that. Take a seat next to him, brother. Talk to the people. Oh, hold on, cool, bro. I want to be part of that shit, bro. Bro, I want to join that, bro. I want to be down here. Hold on, put it on the phone. Oh, that motherfucker. Yeah, for the people. Boy, you want something, though?
Tell them folks what's going on. Tell them like, man, what the hell going on?
I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed. Come on, let's go.
Let's keep talking.
Give me the next one on Kodak. That's crazy. You said that's crazy? Yeah, it is. Yep, that one. This is his response to us seeing him in the middle of the streets and people checking on his mental health. Even Kanye West was saying, somebody go get him, somebody help him out. And this is his response, and I'm showing this for a reason, to make a point. Go ahead.
Damn, bro, this is there you go. Whoa. Say them go out like DMX, man. Shut the fuck up. Definitely ain't going out like DMX. He a legend, huh? Well, bitch, I'd rather go out like DMX and go out like... The fuck? Is it dumb? I do be feeling like DMX though a lot of time. I been saying, get him, bro, chest, he said. Like, no, bitch. Like, no, bitch, I heard it.
Give me the next one. Is there one more? Yeah, there's one more on Kodak. Yep. So the question, before you play it, the question in that last video was, they told him that he gonna go out like DMX. DMX, he struggled with addiction, and he was telling stories on how somebody close to him got him addicted, and it just kept plaguing him and coming back. He kept relapsing over this thing just because how, I'll just say his chemical makeup, his lifestyle, he just couldn't conquer it. And they said, you gonna die just like DMX died. And all he thought was, shoot, he's still a legend, I'm gonna be me. So now, this is Kodak again. Go ahead.
You off them drugs finally, bro. Yes, but not for long. That's what I'm saying. I never, like, but not for long, bro. I can't, cause I'm like, I get bored very easy. I just can't feel being sober for all my life. But like, you know what I'm saying? I be sober, bro.
So he said, I can't be sober all my life. I get bored. I don't have vision. I don't have direction. That's the excuse. That's what it is. But that's his reason of not being sober. And some of us in this body think like that. We want to dibble and dabble in the world and then come back and think that there's not going to be consequences. Let me get, no, I'm going to hold that. Give me Northern Kingdom Drunk.
Ha visto tus piojos.
Pillo.
Ábrele, güey.
Pillo, no seas mamón, güey. ¿Cómo vas a tocarla ahí? La que abre la de atrás.
¿Qué quería manejar?
Güey, si la que abre la de atrás. ¿Cómo?
Ábrele, güey.
Ah, pues está dormido, güey.
No, vámonos en taxi.
This is what it looked like when you don't have friends, real friends. He was so drunk that he tried to open up a fence. He didn't realize that the car was a fence. Is that even his car for him to try to be opening? He beating on the window of it. This is our people trying to heal themselves and deal with the reality. In that same interview, he was saying like fame has an effect on the brain as well, because you're trying to keep this status and be what people perceive you to be, and it causes this high or this chemical release in you. when you get that fame high to continue on, and those levels are drop, and you got to do something else to get those levels back up to produce that chemical back into the body. Give me the one where he was talking about alcohol, and give me Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 1. Proverbs 20 and 1. That's the one I skipped, right? All right, Proverbs 20 and 1.
Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 1. Wine is a mocker.
That's what it looks like when wine is mocking you. When you've had too much. When you've reached a limit. And it becomes a point to where you become dependent on it. To make yourself happy, that you start to lose your sobriety and you feel normal without being sober. Read.
Strong drink is raging. And whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise.
It's not fixing the sorrow that you're running from. Because that's why people get drunk. There's sorrows, there's pain that they're trying to escape. And they use that bottle for a moment. They use the drugs to escape for that moment. One of the movies that I always reference with that was Ray. He would always take the drug to forget about his past and the things that he's seen, and the drug would take him right back to all of that and make matters worse. And he just kept deceiving him into thinking that it was making him feel better and bringing him into a better place, and it wasn't. Play that. I'm more than halfway done.
But pornography, especially in the young, is incredibly damaging to the brain.
So is that applicable to all things that cause like a really sharp burst of dopamine and stimulation? So you said there, fame, pornography, I mean, potentially gaming or gambling, those kinds of things. Alcohol's obviously one of those things as well.
Cocaine,
especially for a developing
methamphetamines.
brain.
Especially for a developing brain. If there's any message, protect your brain until you're 25. And then your brain will protect you. But until then, your prefrontal cortex, that front third of your brain, is not fully developed, which is sort of why God gave you parents. It's like, so you supervise. It's like, oh, my teenagers hate it if I supervise them. And yeah, they hate it more if you don't.
But what if you get to 25 and you're listening to this now and you go, Jesus, does this mean that I can do nothing about my brain?
Of course not.
This was good, but that wasn't the one I wanted. Is there another one where he specifically went into it was weed and alcohol? If it's not there, I know I sent the one on weed.
To college, and
there you go.
Is because you have all these underdeveloped brains or not fully developed brains, and you put them all together without appropriate adult supervision, and a lot of bad things happen at fraternity parties and sorority parties.
They're drinking less though now.
No, they're still drinking it.
Oh, really? There's one second.
And now they're adding mushroom parties to it. So it's alcohol and psilocybin and marijuana, because everybody thinks marijuana is innocuous, which is a lie. And
pause right there. He said a word. Y'all be laughing at me when I be saying these words. This is why I be having a dictionary close. I didn't know what innocuous mean. It means not to be harmless. Weed is harmless, is what he's saying. Play.
And
is it marijuana?
It's a lie. Yeah, and I was actually really upset. So President Biden, during the time he was running for president, so this is 2019, he's on the debate stage with a lot of other people, and they ask him if he would federally legalize marijuana. And he said, I don't think the science is decided. And no, I don't think I would. And Cory Booker, the senator from New Jersey, shamed Biden on national television. He said, man, are you high? Which is just horrifying. And I'm watching this going, the science is actually really clear. Marijuana is bad for the brain. I published a study on 1,000 marijuana users. Every area of their brain is lower in activity. And just today, a study came out in the Journal of the American Medical Association on 1,027 marijuana users. It decreased activity in the hippocampus that affected their memory centers. If you're a teenager and you use marijuana, in your 20s, you have a higher incidence of anxiety, depression, and suicide. This
All right there.
is not.
And this is your crash out generation, to where they've made it legal and putting other substances in it to, and the excuse is always, my anxiety is high. Well, you are putting something in you that's supposedly suppressing it, and once it's gone, your body naturally tries to heal itself, and you're just like, oh no, I don't need you to heal me. Let me calm myself back down with something else. And it go right back into the cycle of deceit that weed is good and it's not. Get Sirach 30 and 14. No, Luke 11 and 24. I wanted to get this before I get to that. The goal is to reach a level of sobriety and discipline to heal ourselves righteously, to see those other options and to see the examples put forth to show that you could easily end up like these statistics and like Kodak Black and my man that was trying to open up the gate to get in the car. And this is how brothers and sisters be looking in the spirit. Y'all think that y'all on and counsel goes out and tell you off, you out of the spirit, you not moving correctly, and you out here with no wisdom, looking drunk. And they don't listen because we black. Black people don't listen to black people. But when white men tell you, that's why I got this white man right here, the doctor, to tell us that weed is bad and the overindulgence of our coping mechanisms or devices is changing our minds, messing us up. Read that.
Luke chapter 11 and verse 24. When the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places.
So we talked about wisdom walking with you in your crooked ways. Well, this is what it looks like when wisdom enters in and the worldly spirit emotions and problems go out with this spirit. And all that you had in you, that spirit is now gone. Read.
He walketh through dry places, seeking rest. And
this spirit is looking for a place to inhabit. All those problems and emotions and deceit that's with it, it's looking for a host. Read.
And finding none. He saith, I will return unto my house whence I came out.
So this spirit is now saying, let's check back in. Let's see if wisdom is still with this person, because life is lifing for this person, and you're going to need a fix for what's happening in your life. And the spirit, Satan, knows how to deceive you. You know what's good for you and what's not. Read.
Verse 25. And when he cometh, he findeth it swept and garnished. Then goeth he and taketh to him 7 other spirits more wicked than himself.
And you end up in a state to where you're deceiving yourself with other things. So now that you are depressed and have anxiety and you use wisdom to fix it, and when you got that promotion or that success, or God heard your prayers and you received what you asked for, and it came with standards and another level of discipline, now you have another higher level of depression and anxiety because these things came with the job that you asked for that you didn't take account for, that you didn't prepare your mind and your soul to deal with, and now you need some type of fix to bring that depression in submission, and you choose other things. So that's where this spirit comes into play and say, I knew you needed me. I have a better fix than before. And you isolate yourself into that sin for days and for weeks and for months, and you run and you hide and you cower because you are ashamed that you went back to your vomit. And then you look at yourself like, nobody, woe is me, nobody's going through what I'm going through. They wouldn't understand. I can't tell anybody. But no, you want to hide your sin so you can stay in it and have the excuse of nobody cared for me, when it was you who made the choice. Wisdom was walking with you, and you had a choice to be disciplined. You cringed at the sin and gave into it. Talking about I'm battling. No, you're not. You getting beat out, beat up. You being conquered and conditioned. Read 26 again.
Verse 26. Then goeth he and taketh to him 7 other spirits more wicked than himself.
You run into that old friend. You get a random phone call. You go places where you don't normally go and see worse things than what you've conquered, that you thought that you had overcome. And you place yourself in that environment, and it brings you down worse and keeps you there. That's what happens in real time. Get Sirach 30 and verse 14. Oh, I forgot about. I ain't forget about it. Go ahead.
Sirach chapter 30 and verse 14.
Uh-huh.
Better is the poor, being sound and strong of constitution, than a rich man that is afflicted in his body.
I was looking for this book. I thought it was in As a Man Thinketh, and or in this Human Nature, in the 48 Laws of human nature. But there was a man who was rich, and he got sick. He was told to change his diet to prevent or to heal his ailment, and he didn't. Because he had money, he just bought new organs to fix the problem and didn't change his eating habits, ended up in the same problem and died. That's some of us. We get this gospel and we take it for granted. We don't change our habits, and now those 7 worse spirits come upon us and put us in a worse state. Read that again.
Sirach chapter 30 and verse 14. Better is the poor, being sound and strong of constitution.
Having discipline in this Bible, being content with where you're at, and striving to grow in that contentment. Read.
Than a rich man that is afflicted in his body.
Read.
Health and good estate of body are above all gold, and a strong body above infinite wealth.
Read.
There is no riches above a sound body.
So the Bible is telling you that you have to take care of your body. You Sabbath sick people. Read.
and no joy above the joy of the heart.
Because when you feel good, you do good. Read.
Death is better than a bitter life or continual sickness.
And it's talking about your anxieties, your depressions, your past traumas, the things that you imagine that's going to happen that haven't, and you plague your mind. It's saying death is better than you having a mind like that, or to be continually sick, having an ailment that's chronic. Read.
Delicates poured upon a mouth shut up.
Jump down to 30 and 21.
Sirach chapter 30 and verse 21. Give not over thy mind to heaviness.
Don't think so heavily on those things. Yeah, they're going to come to your mind and they're going to pop up, but it's meant for you to solve them, to seek counsel to help you get past those heavy thoughts. But it's not meant for you to dwell on them to bring you down. Read.
And afflict not thyself in thine own counsel.
That's what we do. We afflict ourselves in those mentalities. Read.
The gladness of the heart is the life of a man. And the joyfulness of a man prolongeth his days.
Making yourself happy is going to keep you from sickness. A person that thinks like that, matter of fact, I'll tell it straight. There are people that I have witnessed that have a sick-minded mentality, meaning if they cough or sneeze, they'll go look up a symptom on Google, get the symptom, and make themselves that symptom that they seen online, just from like a cough, a sneeze, a headache. And these are your Sabbath sick people. These are your people that find reasons and excuses to keep themselves away from the body, away from keeping God's commandments. Read.
Verse 23. Love thine own soul.
You got to learn how to love yourself. That type of destructive thinking is exactly what's going to happen to you, to where you really will become sick. You've convinced yourself of these things so much to where the brain changed itself to where you will become that type of sickness, if not another, and you'll continue on in that sick mentality. Read.
And comfort thy heart.
Comfort your mind. Do things that's going to make you feel better. Me, when people around me are sick, listen, I'm taking some herbs. I'm drinking tea. I'm making myself better before it happens, because the immune system can only take so much. And if you're not feeding it things to have a defense, you're surely going to get sick. Read.
Remove sorrow far from thee.
Keep it away from you. Have a solution. Most people say, I'm having a bad day, and they'll leave it at that. The end of that sentence should be, I'm having a bad day, but it don't have to stay that way. It's going to get better. But most people won't think like that. They just stay on that negative course, and just because a series of events happen, their day is bad. No, you just had a series of events in a moment that were unfortunate. The day is still going, so the day isn't bad. You just had a bad scenario. Change it. Read.
For sorrow hath killed many.
It's killed many. The way that we be thinking, it hurts us. It kills us. Read.
And there is no profit therein. Envy and wrath shorten the life, and carefulness bringeth age before the time.
Worrying, like Officer Daniela was bringing out earlier, being over worried about situations or circumstances that are above you, you can't change, or that takes a process of time to make better or to heal. Read.
A cheerful and good heart will have care of his meat and diet.
Because in the beginning of that interview, he was saying that negative thinking and foods that we eat make us depressed. And junk food, that's one of the things that changes the way we think because it rewires the brain. All that sugar and processed foods that America drowns us with, it makes us sluggish, it makes us real tired, and it makes us real unproductive, and it makes us heavy. That's why the Bible is correlating mental health and eating, because what you eat is what you are. If you eat healthy, you'll be healthier. But if you eat bad, you're going to be obese, and Captain Shim is going to be on your helmet about your body weight, which the world calls body shaming, when it's correction to heal you. Read.
That was it on 30 and 25.
Jump to chapter 38 and verse 1 in Sirach.
Sirach, chapter 38.
Well, before that, get the last part of the that as a man thinketh. Page 20 and good thoughts. Up. Yep. Good thoughts.
Good thoughts and actions can never produce bad results. Bad thoughts and actions can never produce good results. This is but saying that nothing can come from corn but corn, nothing from nettles but nettles. Men understand this law in the natural world and work with it, but few understand it in the mental and moral world, though its operation there is just as simple and undeviating, and they, therefore, do not cooperate with it.
Read.
Suffering is always the effect of wrong thought in some direction. It is an indication that the individual is out of harmony with himself, with the law of his being. The sole and supreme use of suffering is to purify, to burn out all that is useless and impure. Suffering ceases for him who is pure. There could be no object in burning gold after the dross had been removed, and a perfectly pure and enlightened being could not suffer. The circumstances which a man encounters with suffering are the result of his own mental inharmony. The circumstances which a man encounters with blessedness are the result of his own mental harmony. Blessedness not material possessions is the measure of right thought. Wretchedness, not lack of material possessions, is the measure of wrong thought.
Read.
A man may be cursed and rich. He may be blessed and poor. Blessedness and riches are only joined together when the riches are rightly and wisely used. And the poor man only descends into wretchedness when he regards his lot as a burden unjustly imposed.
That was it. So it's saying the same thing as everything that we read. One, you got to make yourself happy and be content with what you had. And the laws of this Bible is what's supposed to govern you. Though bad things happen with your good resolves, doesn't mean that it's going to stay that way. You're going to be rewarded for your good works. You just got to wait until those fruits are produced. So from there, get Sirach 38:1.
Sirach chapter 38 and verse 1.
And let me just drop that off. Let me drop this in there. I don't think that I got the clip that I wanted of that doctor, but I'm just gonna I'll do this. Give me that chart with the statistics. Yeah. This chart with statistics shows how many prescription pills, like antidepressants, on a global stance. America is leading in this, in giving out antidepressants. And what he was talking about is there are other options to give people rather than the antidepressants, because you know what? Let me see. Instead of explaining, let me see. I think I did send it. No, in the clips with the interview, because he was getting into it with it might be the last one with the weed laws, where he was talking about Biden. Play it from there. Let me see if he gets to it, because he mentioned it towards like the end. Can't hear nothing. I can hear it in the room. I can't hear it out here.
But let's not say it's innocuous, because that's a lie.
Skip.
And we are
Skip.
now, so many states have, if anything, it's dramatically worse.
Hold up.
There's two issues here.
Oh, let me hear that part there.
Isn't there? There's the impact cannabis has on the brain, and then there's the whole issue of legalization. And I was as you were speaking, I was just looking at some of the research, and it says exactly what you said. It says that there was a study published in JAMA Network which examined over 1,000 young adults' brains, and almost 70% of heavy users exhibited reduced brain activity during working memory tasks. The decline was associated with poor performance in retaining using information.
Skip a little bit. He's still talking about
the
the
question
effects
of
of weed.
legalization is a whole nother.
We're not educating kids on the potential damage to brain development, which nobody really argues about. Nobody reputable I know of is going, yeah, give it to teenagers and let them smoke all they want. No, it's just dumb. So it's a bigger question, and I think the answer, and I have a high school course in, it's called Brain Thrive by 25, and we actually study.
Yeah, I didn't send it to you. It's all right. But go ahead, bring me the statistics back. So this chart shows the country's global antidepressant users per 1,000 people, and America is leading in this. Give me the Northern Kingdom. Yeah, the Instagram. It says if Mexico stopped exporting drugs for a month, America would be the ones climbing over the wall. I think that's true, because we're so dependent on the drugs to get the quick fix. And I'll say it like this. He was explaining that the pills that they give, they suppress the emotion or that chemical imbalance that we have been prescribed by the doctor. It'll suppress it, but after it suppresses it, it makes you dependent upon it. So now you have to go back to it, and that's what he was explaining. Give me the woman. So it's showing you how in the medical field how they racially diagnose people. And I just wanted that clip to go up. I'm almost out of time, so let me get Sirach 38:1 just to sum all that up.
Sirach chapter 38 and verse 1. Honor a physician with the honor due unto him for the uses which he may have of him.
So it's not an evil thing to seek a physician. It's not evil to go to the doctor to check yourself out, because he has the knowledge and experience on health. Read.
For the Lord hath created him.
Uh-huh.
For of the Most High cometh healing.
Uh-huh.
And he shall receive honor of the king.
Read.
The skill of the physician shall lift up his head, and in the sight of great men he shall be in admiration.
Read.
The Lord hath created medicines out of the earth.
And that's a true statement. That is a very true statement. He was saying instead of doing an antidepressant, You can do siphon. It's like a root. It's like a red root, and it boosts your morale in this herb. It's a spice. It's what it is. And he said it boosts your that emotion, that feeling. He said that there's a plethora of other things. Just walking 4 times a week clears that depression. But you'll go to the doctor and they say, oh, you feel this way, you feel this way. Well, here's the diagnosis, and we're going to prescribe this. We always take the easy route instead of sincerely asking, what are the holistic ways I can take to recover? Here's some blood pressure medicine. But there's other options than blood pressure medicine. Read.
And he that is wise will not abhor them.
So if you're wise, you're not going to hate the medicines that God created or the doctor. Read.
Verse 5. Was not the water made sweet with wood? That the virtue thereof might be known?
Read.
And he hath given men skill, that he might be honored in his marvelous works.
He made these things and men to understand that operation on how to serve this type of community. Read.
With,
a healer.
With such doth he heal men.
Read.
And taketh away their pains.
And that's the doctor. That's the man that was created to heal you on that physical labor if you're using it with wisdom and not abusing it. Read.
Of such doth the apothecary make a confection, and of his works there is no end.
Making medicines. Read.
And from him is peace over all the earth.
Because he's healing people's physical pains, certain traumas. He's dealing with it on a knowledge that most average people don't have. Read.
My son, in thy sickness be not negligent.
So don't be negligent to go to the doctor to check on yourself, to hear what the doctor has to say. But you also have to use the wisdom to just not to accept everything that he gives you, and doing your own research of what he's giving you, because there's a plethora of other options. Me personally, I'm not drinking no Pepto-Bismol for stomach issues. I'm going to eat pumpkin seeds, papaya seeds. Those are things that help with digestion. Read.
But pray unto the Lord, and he will make thee whole. Leave off from sin.
And he said, my son, in thy sickness, be not negligent, but pray unto the Lord. Because sometimes the diagnosis is wrong. Sometimes the medicine didn't fit your chemical makeup. Things happen. Read. So you got to pray to God that he be with the things that you're doing, the decisions that are being made. Read.
Verse 10. Leave off from sin.
But you got to leave off from sin, or that prayer and the hope in that medicine working is going to be disannulled. Read.
And order thy hands aright. And cleanse thy heart from all wickedness.
Get your mind right. Read.
Give a sweet savor.
Read.
And a memorial of fine flour. And make a fat offering as not being.
You're the sacrifice now. Read.
Then give place to the physician.
After you've made supplication, prayed, then go to the doctor. Then get the medicine. Don't just take the physician's word at his mouth, because we are under evil men that want evil gain, that have been captivating our minds to go in a loop of deceit. Read.
For the Lord hath created him. Let him not go from thee, for thou hast need of him.
You need the doctors. You need medicines, but not the ones that are made or catered for you to abuse them, to be hooked on them, and to only suppress, not fix or heal, like ibuprofen. Read.
Verse 13.
And I'm not a doctor, by the way, but I've watched these things on the holistic side and the Western medicine side of things, and a lot of their medicines just suppress or cut off the signal, and it doesn't fix you. Read.
Verse 13. There is a time when in their hands there is good success.
Right.
For they shall also pray unto the Lord.
Read. And this is a righteous physician. Read.
That he would prosper that which they gave for ease and remedy to prolong life.
Read.
He that sinneth before his maker, let him fall into the hand of the physician.
Consider your ways. Read.
My son, let tears fall down.
Jump
over
down to verse 18.
Verse 18. For of heaviness cometh death.
Of worry cometh death. You make yourself sicker or sick because you worry, because you doubt. You see cancer patients that give up. The doctor tell them you got 6 months, 6 years to live, and they give up and die. Other cancer patients, they were like, you got minimum 3 months. And they're fine with it and they're happy, and it prolongs their life. They deal with it differently. They didn't make their mind sick, which caused their body to just shut down and be sicker than what it was. They bounce back from it and live longer than some healthy people. Like what cancer? I beat it. I conquered it. That's how you got to be in the spirit. Yeah, I'm going through stuff, but I'm going to conquer it because it was already set from the beginning for me to win. Read.
And the heaviness of the heart breaketh strength.
It breaks your strength. It makes you sick. So if you think sick, you gonna be sick. Read.
In affliction also sorrow remaineth.
Uh-huh.
And the life of the poor is the curse of the heart.
Read.
Take no heaviness to heart. Drive it away.
Do things to make yourself better in a healthy, righteous way. Read.
And remember the last end.
Ecclesiastes 9 and 8. And then I'm going to jump. I'm out of time. Ecclesiastes 9 and verse 8.
Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 8. Let thy garments be always white.
Be in righteousness.
And let thy head lack no ointment.
The commandments. Read.
Live joyfully with the wife whom thou lovest.
Learn to love your wives. Read.
All the days of thy life, all the days of the life of thy vanity, which he hath given thee under the sun.
Because that's why a woman was created. So you're not alone. So you have this level of happiness, someone to share a life with and not be lonely. Learn how to live joyfully with one another, because having each other keeps you healthy. Read.
All the days of thy vanity.
Uh-huh.
For that is thy portion in this life.
Right.
And in thy labor which thou takest under the sun.
Read.
Verse 10. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do.
Whatever you want to do, read.
Do it with thy might.
Have a good attitude. Do it with the strength that God gives you. Read.
For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave, whither thou goest.
Because we're all going to die one day. So whatever it is on this earth that you've been given, the mission is set. Do it with all thy might. Be happy with your lot. Be content. Go to Sirach 18 and 20. And I need the picture of ants. Go ahead.
Sirach chapter 18 and verse 20.
Uh-huh.
Before judgment, examine thyself.
Uh-huh.
And in the day of visitation, thou shalt find mercy.
Read.
Humble thyself before thou be sick.
Read.
And in the time of sins, show repentance.
Be humble. Saying the same thing. Read.
Let nothing hinder thee to pay thy vow in due time, and defer not until death to be justified.
Read.
Before thou prayest, prepare thyself.
This is the important part and the summary of what was just read. Before you pray, get your mind right. Understand what you're asking for, and prepare yourself for what you want to pray for, what you're asking the Father for, is it going to be to your detriment of what you're asking, or is it going to heal your life and the people around you, your nation, first and foremost? Read.
And be not as one that tempteth the Lord.
Because we are a greedy people. We're a covetous people. We just want. And it's for no real gain. Read. Jump to verse 29.
Verse 29. They that were of understanding in sayings become also wise themselves, and poured forth exquisite parables. Verse 30. Go not after thy lusts.
So it's saying, go not after your lust. And this is you also what you're praying for. If what you want, you know is going to take you off track, be patient. Wait until you can build yourself up to receive such a blessing or to become a curse. Read.
But refrain thyself from thine appetites.
Keep yourself away from sins and the things that's causing you sorrow. Proverbs 10:22.
Proverbs chapter 10 and verse 22. The blessing of the Lord, it maketh rich.
When God blesses you, it increases you. Read.
And he addeth no sorrow with it.
It don't take away from your life. It only adds to it. That's wisdom comforting you, giving you the things that you need, making you successful with joyfulness and not grief, like the devices that we've created here on earth that take us backwards and spinning in the loop of deceit. Proverbs 11:14.
Proverbs chapter 11 and verse 14. Where no counsel is, the people fall.
So if you don't take counsel, you're going to fall for these traps. You're going to fail. You're going to put yourself back in that miserable mentality, that sick mind. Read.
But in the multitude of counselors, there is safety.
You have to surround yourself with people that's going to keep you in the spirit of Christ and not Satan, not yourself. Sirach. No, Psalms 141 and 5.
Psalms chapter 141 and verse 5. Let the righteous smite me.
Let the men of understanding get on my helmet. Let them tear me down, because the new mind that I've created, I know them tearing me down is to build me up like a workout. You break down the muscles to build more muscles. That's what righteous counsel does to a just man. Read.
It shall be a kindness.
It shall make me better. It won't add sorrow. It will bless me without it, without the sorrow. Read.
And let him reprove me. It shall be an excellent oil.
Just like what was running down Aaron's beard. An oil that can't be reproduced. It is an holy oil. That's what the law is. Read.
Which shall not break my head.
It's not going to make me sick. It's going to heal the problems and the traumas that's in my head. Read.
For yet my prayer also shall be in their calamities.
Because now that I've confessed my sin, I've told you what's plaguing me, you have options for me to succeed. You show me the strength that you had in most cases, a worse scenario than what I'm complaining about, to make me feel better. That's the blessing of the Lord that adds no sorrow. Counselors, men of understanding, and taking the advice and understanding how and where strength come from. Give me ants. It'll be on the screen. It ain't in your Bible. I don't know what.
I thought you said X.
Nah, ants. Make it smaller. Get Proverbs 13:12. That's what you could do. You got to make it smaller. You're cutting off the top. Thank you. You made it smaller. God bless you. It says ANTS. It's an acronym. I posted this in one of our in a few of our chats, and in that interview, that's what the Edomite was saying. ANTS causes relapses to our hopes. ANTS means automatic negative thoughts. And he was saying the more you let ants come into your mind, the worse you become. Proverbs 13:12.
Proverbs chapter 13 and verse 12.
Uh-huh.
Hope deferred maketh the heart sick.
Because we have hopes, aspirations, goals. Read.
But when the desire cometh, it is a tree of life.
And when we actually meet those standards that were set for us or that we had hoped for, it brings us to life. It gives us hope. It gives us joy. It makes us want to progress even further. But our mentality of automatic negative thoughts, that's when we get depressed. That's when we start to relapse back into the world. Read.
Whoso despiseth the word shall be destroyed.
So if you hate this gospel that's healing you, you're going to be destroyed. You're going to be taken by those negative thoughts, that train of thinking that got you addicted to this and that and pulled away from this truth. Read.
But he that feareth the commandment shall be rewarded. The law of the wise is a fountain of life, to depart from the snares of death.
And the snares of death is that negative thinking that's going to have you addicted to this and that, and ultimately sin, to where 7 other worse demons plague you. Read.
Good understanding giveth favor, but the way of transgressors is hard.
You're going to live a rough life. You'll be sitting in the middle of the street eating fried chicken, looking twisted. Last scripture, Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 23.
Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 23. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith.
Because this is our profession. And the things that we go through is going to build that faith and make you stronger. Read.
Without wavering.
Without doubt. Read.
For he is faithful that promised.
Because what the Lord said that he was going to give us, the hope that he said that he was going to give us, the rest, the ease, the peace, he said that he was going to wipe our tears. It's going to happen. You just got to trust the process. That's your faith. Read.
Verse 24. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works.
And that's what a counselor is for, to provoke you, even if you feel like it's against you. Because of your negative thought process, you think that my words are so damaging to you that it's not going to help you. My advice, my counsel that comes from the Lord, it wasn't meant to hurt or to harm you. Though you're going to have to go through adversity to meet the goal, it's for your betterment, to push you to strive for good works, to keep you in the endurance and the faith of Christ. Read.
Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves.
Not separating yourself, because that damages your thinking. It rewires your mind to separate yourself, to be out of the spirit. Read.
As the manner of some is.
The sensual, the worldly thinkers. Read.
But exhorting one another.
Making each other feel better. That's why I was saying in our high holy days, the lesson keeps us together. That is one of the prime things. We have so many high holy days to make us come together in joyness and gladness, to boost our spirits in the middle of the week, at the end of the week, and for weeks. For a week we celebrate together in the wilderness. For a whole week, you have to think about getting the leaven out of your body and build your spirit up to be better. For a week, you think about how God gave us independence and saved us from our enemies. And he's going to continue to give us that hope. That's what coming together is about on these high holy days. Forget a birthday, forget Christmas, forget all of those things that end up in a fight and somebody get busted in the head with a bottle because they had too much to drink. God brings us together. Read.
And so much the more as ye see the day approaching.
Keep gathering together in the spirit of Christ, because the day is approaching to where he's going to give us everything that he had promised. The life and the rest for eternity and the peace of mind that we also want so badly. Read.
For if we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins, but a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation, which shall devour the adversaries. He that despised Moses' law died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses.
So with that, Lord's will, you rewire your minds, convert your minds to this gospel, and do this thing with joyfulness and happiness to heal your soul and your mind. Shalom, Most High in Christ. Bless. Happy Sabbath.
Look,